Hello and welcome to Lady Cinema, and on this episode, we're gonna see how a relationship goes from the worst when a man is suddenly killed into a man who wants to do the best for his daughter and try to provide her for the best for her life. But when unwanted love calls for a worthy and written attraction, will sadly lead to more death and destruction, but in the end, love will conquer all, and John Singletary's Poetic Justice. Hello and welcome to Lazy Cinema, and on this episode we're gonna see how Tupac Shakur, who plays Lucky, and Janet Jackson, who plays a woman named Justice, will join together in probably one of the most uncommon but very beautiful relationships in Poetic Justice, directed by the director of Boys in the Hood, John Singletary. Now, of course, since February is all about this month of love, and I might have lied when I said there was not going to be a review today. I overlooked one I haven't seen before. So, Poetic Justice actually is a very well made and very well crafted film directed by John Singletary, who did a really brilliant job writing this as well as putting it together, because this film doesn't just use it uses a creative writing style, but it uses the poetry of one Maya Angelou, and also since this is Black History Month, I figured why not introduce some influential people onto this series. Tupac Shakur definitely for his movement in the black music movement, as well as Janet Jackson herself. So, the film starts out very in a worst kind of way where Janet Jackson's character Justice witnesses her boyfriend being shot right in front of her. And it takes a different tone from there on out. I thought it would have been more of like Boys in the Hood type of territory, maybe even mix it in with like Romeo and Juliet, where, they're sort of like from different hoods, but we fall in love together after all. It's a lot more beautiful than that, but I wouldn't have blamed it if it went down that route. Um, but after that, she sort of like becomes disconnected from the world. She wants nothing more to do with it anymore, and she's kind of like broken off from it, and she wants nothing to do, sort of like being an outcast in society. That is until she meets Lucky, played by Tupac Shakur. Now, Lucky in this version, compared to the actual Tupac Shakur, they actually combined him for this character. The only difference is being is that in this movie he has a daughter named uh, named Keisha, and in real life he actually has a son who is always interviewed to talk about his father. Now I can see probably why they went with that instead of son, although I thought it would have been creative if they did actually use his son instead of having it be a daughter, and father relationship. But he wants the best for his daughter. He doesn't care about his ex-wife anymore. His ex-wife, does drugs, does everything around his children, even to the point where she's kind of prostituting and also, sleeping with men on kind of a daily basis. So he wants what's best for his daughter, and in order to do so, he has to make a run from LA to Oakland. And this begins sort of like a romance trip. It becomes a romance comedy, but it becomes something even more better, having both Joe Perry and Regina King play a romance couple who end up not being in love together uh, after a while, realizing that they aren't in a way meant for each other, but in another way they aren't exactly the best for one another because they were both cheating on each other. She picks on him because of his muscle treatments, or I guess in a way sort of a deformity. So it's become something even different than that. But one thing I do have to say is that I love the relationship that Tupac and Janet Jackson bring to the screen. Honestly, they create a relationship all their own, and they really do a good job at it. some of my favorite scenes in here was after Regina King and Joe Perry's character get into an argument. Tupac ends up, pulling off to the side of the road somewhere and just sitting in silence under a tree, trying to get the weight of the world that's on him like off of his shoulders. Another one of my favorite scenes is that when he goes to Oakland for just one important reason and finding out what happens, he breaks down. He just cannot contain it anymore and he shuts himself out from the world because he doesn't know what to do with himself anymore. It's a very brilliant crafted sequence as well, but probably the one that tops it all is Janet Jackson is just looking in the mirror and she just, I guess in a way, kind of like modeling, and then suddenly she remembers what happens and it takes a turn for the worse and it ends on her actually crying in the mirror. She goes through these different stages of like happiness, anger, sadness, and probably even suicidal, which was like a way dark turn for the movie than what I was expecting. But again, yes, the relationship that the two bring to the screen is honestly something really special. Something that cannot be replaced. Everybody talks about the relationship from The Notebook or The Princess's Bride or even Titanic. This is honestly one of them that should be talked about more. It really feels like they had something and were trying to, build on it in all sincerity. Yes, it is a blatant romance comedy, but there's more to it, especially towards the end when, after Tupac's character Lucky breaks down and honestly kind of like accepts things for what they are, and when he goes back and sees justice, he really, accepted like this relationship that he wants to build with this woman. And sadly, since there was no sequel to this and the movie probably should have been longer, it probably would have lasted from that, showing them where they stand, I would from today maybe do like a love and basketball type of deal thing, but that was not the case. This movie is only about 2 hours, a minute, an hour 45 tops. But it really could have benefited from maybe being like about 3 hours long. It could have benefited a lot from that, but there's a lot that John Singletary does in his time and really makes it work. And especially with the relationship between Tupac and Janet Jackson's characters, he really made it work for all that it's worth. And also using the brilliant poetry of Maya Angelou was definitely a really big touch. And this is definitely one of the best films I've seen this year. I know I said I wouldn't have a review up for Monday, but uh, next week is my anniversary, so I'm going to do something special for that, and it's not going to be a movie review, so I thought I would do it now. So, thank you everybody for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It's a month of love, and it is the month of Black History Month. If you guys could make some music yourself and show me some love, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and follow me at Twitter in the link in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys Wednesday with some new movies that I'm sure that you will enjoy, and some I'm very interested in, and some I've never seen before. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.